Today we're going to be bringing modern technology into this 3.7 liter M30 535 E34. You guys may remember this car from a little while back. I picked it up. It is a Metric Mechanic 3.7 liter Stroker M30 B35 535 E34. That's a mouthful. But essentially, last video we went through and confirmed that it was a 3.7 liter Stroker. And if you guys remember, this car has a pretty much nightmare of a piggyback that half of the stuff was stolen. So it's pretty much left inoperable. And I haven't had time to work on it, but we finally got ourselves a true plug and play ECU for it. We're gonna be getting this thing running on a standalone and seeing what the 3.7 is all about. So what I went with here was a classic daily plug and play. I'm gonna run you guys through the kit really quick and all the parts that come with it. Then we'll pull it in the garage and we'll get this thing running. What we have here is the classic daily turkey and cheese plug and play ECU kit. You can get this kit from Classic Daily. It is a group of just enthusiasts like us that have designed pretty much a standalone ECU for M20s, M30s. For about 800 bucks, you'll get everything in this kit. This isn't a sponsored ad or anything. I bought this myself, but I have to say I really, really love working with enthusiasts in the community that help us out. And I mean, these guys, this kit I'm extremely impressed with. I'm sure the install will be amazing. But let me run you guys through everything that's kind of included here. So of course you actually have the standalone ECU itself right here. This is tuned with Tuner Studio, similar to Mega Squirt, but I believe the management system on it is different. Mega Squirt's fine, but it's a little dated, and I think it's more than this, and I've heard that this is just a better kit. But so with this ECU, you also get all of this, and this is where the bang for your buck comes in. So pretty much the method to standaloning a plug and play standalone on an engine like this, you pretty much need a few things. You need a TPS, you need IAT, and you need MAP. Well, the MAP is built into the ECU. That's a simple vacuum line, very simple. Then you also get this AFM delete pipe, which will go right in place of where the AFM goes, in between the air box. This has a bung already welded for an IAT, so the intake air temperature, this is going to be taking the place of your MAF, or your AFM. With that, you also get a pigtail that connects your stock AFM harness from your harness into the IAT, because if you watched my M30 ITB video, you'll know that the AFMs do have internal IATs in them. Instead of doing wiring like I had to do, they actually send you the pigtail. Then also, you get another pigtail, which adapts your M30 harness to your M50 throttle body. And this is a two-part system here. So thanks to the guys at Angry Ass that supply this, you have the M30 throttle position sensor adapter. And what this is a really nice metal adapter plate that allows you to connect a M50 variable TPS sensor onto an M30. So these parts will go together like this. Then you use this pigtail here to connect the M50 TPS to the M30 harness. You also get your vacuum hose with the T in it so that you can run your MAP. You get a Bosch Wideband 02 so that you can obviously tune the car and get your AFRs. Here we have the cable to connect to the ECU, and then extra pins for auxiliary setups, because these guys also give you the option to just add a ton of extra stuff. You can add flex fuel, you can add brand new injector harnesses, wasted spark, sequential ignition, etc., etc. So there's a lot of options here. And then finally you have this, which is your wideband connector to the ECU. This allows your wideband to go right into your, it's one of these ones, I can't remember. Yeah, the aux. So it allows your wideband to go right into your ECU, so you don't have to mess with the factory harness and convert the O2 sensor wiring. But that is pretty much the kit right there. Now let's get this car in the garage and start working on it. So you guys also remember, this thing does actually fire up, and a lot of people were speculating as to like why it wouldn't run. Well, this car has an existing Mustang MAF conversion in it, and without the actual piggyback in place, the car has no tuning. So the stock ECU can run it, but you have absolutely no enrichment because this is not connecting to anything. So you see it just has no revs. But it runs, the engine sounds good, which is nice because it helps us get in the garage. So here's a reminder of pretty much what we're left with here. Now this is a disaster, and the trickiest part about everything we're doing today is gonna be me working through this, because we have to get rid of all this. The plug and play ECU allows you to run a stock 535 with a stock harness and everything will connect into it. You don't have to do any extra wiring. You don't have to modify your stock harness. This one already has modifications, and that's worrying me a little bit because it might make things difficult. If I absolutely need to, I have a stock harness I can throw back in, but I would like to make this one work, save me some time. So I think the first step here, though, is to get rid of all this stuff because we do not need any of it. So this is all old style piggyback garbage. Yeah, and this is the old piggyback that this car was on. It's a perfect power, smart tuner tiny, but pretty much what runs this, like the tune was stolen off a laptop, whatever. So it's worthless, but this is what all this extra stuff was going into. And this is some 1990s type of stuff here. So we can gladly get rid of that and then pretty much just work through this. I'm praying that they made kind of a standalone harness for this stuff and we don't have to, you know, find that a lot of the stock harness was just destroyed. And again, if you're watching this as a guide, you can kind of just skip over this crap because this is probably not what your car is going to look like. And you're lucky because you don't have to deal with this. Okay, yeah, let's get this all out of here. Wiring holder out because we're going to have to pull some wires out here. Okay, so here's our stock harness and it looks like we have a couple wires chopped from it for this pigtail. Chop this, could probably reconnect it. Reconnect ECU side in a yellow and gray. Okay, this is out of the way. Don't need the, oh, look at this. That's nice, gonna have to replace that. So this is the old Mustang MAF. This used to be like the method for these cars, but I can't say anymore. We don't need the ICV on here. We'll pop this off. I may be doing a little harness repair work here. We don't need this MAF plug. We're not going to use it. There's no scenario here where we are using it because we're not running on a Mustang MAF. So I'm going to start chopping up. This is all aftermarket, so I'm going to chop it right all the way back to here because we don't need it. All right, so this is the Mustang MAF cut out. We have eliminated this hell that is a piggyback wiring harness. Throw that on the ground there. Yes, ma'am. Okay, well, seemingly all the wires that are cut here can be reconnected. So I've had some fun with the ETMs here, done some wire tracing, some continuity tests, and pretty much think I've pinpointed just about everything here. So I got these two weird black connectors coming out of the ECU plug that were absolutely stumping me. I had to go grab a whole nother harness, couldn't figure it out. Well, then I realized that one of these is from the crank position signal, and it's obviously supposed to go from the sensor into the harness. I believe the pigtail or the piggyback basically stole the signal of the crank sensor from the ECU. So this is pretty much just one. I don't know why it's like this, but these just have to be connected. And then here, there's two wires that are cut for the O2 sensor. Doesn't matter because we're running a standalone harness to the O2. Then there's an IAT wire that needs to be reconnected. Two IATs, one ground, one whatever signal. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's not super bad, super messed with. So I'm gonna repair these. I'm gonna have to get some wires to graft because some of these are cut a little bit short. And then, unfortunately, what we have to do because of the fact that the old AFM connector was chopped, we're not gonna get to use this nice pigtail from them. I'm gonna have to cut it here and then just connect these two wires to the IAT signal and ground. So we're gonna have to modify this beautiful harness, which really makes me sad, but I don't have any IAT connectors or original AFM connectors, so. Alright, now we will make sure that we connected all these properly. So this is our crank signal, which should come up here. Yep, crank signal is restored. Okay, IAT is extended. So now actually we can put all this away. All right, we have, I believe, messed this entire thing up. Our IAT sensor is plugged in right off the factory harness. A little bit of effort here, but our pigtail is ready to go. The next thing here is I guess we'll do the TPS. We have to take off the M30 one. It's not variable, so it does not work with this standalone. Okay, slide that off. The old M31. So here we have the angry ass adapter piece right here. So this is actually really, really nice. This, I believe, will go on to the throttle body like so. You got that O-ring that kind of seals the gap. But yeah, then this will go right on there like so. So you have the O-ring here onto the shaft, and then this hooks up there. All right, so slide the adapter piece. The long goes through the sensor, the short ones mount it. I'm really glad this came with it because yours will probably strip as mine did. The adapter's on, and now, yeah, I guess it does go down like that. Okay, adapter harness. Boom. Boom. And there you have it. TPS is done. All right, next up here, we got to get our vacuum hose. So we have a teed vacuum hose here, which will allow us to run into the map sensor. Take that off. Connect it there. Then we just got to get we'll run that all the way over there, and then we just got to get a little bit of hose right here to go back into the FPR. Off the T. Into the FPR. This will run up and over and in. We can actually probably get all this stuff shoved back in here. It doesn't have to be out anymore. There we go. All right, pull this in. Stock ECU, goodbye. Now it's time for this bad boy right here. So it definitely slots in there nice, but it doesn't have anything to kind of bolt it down to. Not a big deal. The only other main problem here is actually where this map sensor plug is. It's actually a little goofy on the E34. It's kind of in the way. The box is kind of in the way. Okay, map sensor. It fits. It's a little weird, but I think that's something we could play with later. For now, I kind of just want to get it hooked up. Okay, ICV can go in. And now the most frustrating part of this entire job is probably going to be the wideband install, because that means you have to undo your stock O2 sensor. And O2 sensors don't like to come out of these cars because they're so old. So now is where you pray to God and hope that life isn't a nightmare and you have to pull your exhaust down. So now my saving grace is this car already had a wideband installed. I'm not using it, but that means it's not 30 plus years old. It's probably not been in there that long. So I have it disconnected. I cut the wires. My goal here is to not have to drop the exhaust. I just don't want to have to do it. So I got a 22 mil here, and I got a flex head ratchet, and I think we could probably get this on. Yeah, okay. All right, and fingers crossed here, we have one shot. We got it. We actually got it. Oh, and it comes out by hand. Oh, it wasn't seized at all. Woohoo! We did it. All right, your life probably won't be this easy. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I got very lucky on this. Okay, so now my only complaint with this kit, and I actually talked to Jake, and they have since changed it, but when I bought it, the supplied wideband they gave me is this Bosch, which the Bosch sensor's fine, but they gave me the shorter one. And the E34, where the stock O2 goes, which is way far back. It's too far for this with the adapter sensor or the adapter harness to reach my ECU. So I actually have a extension harness on the way, which will connect into this and then go into my other harness right here, which goes into the ECU that they made. Not a big deal, and he said that they now supply longer ones, so not a problem, but that's just the only snag I've hit with this project thus far. So I have here an extension harness I made. So this is the factory, or I guess the harness that they supply, which goes from your wideband to your ECU. I basically just added 4 feet of wire between it. So I cut it in the middle and then just extended it. So this should work theoretically, I hope. And we should be on our way here. So let's get underneath and let's route this up really quickly. So here's our wideband, and I did tighten it down. I got an O2 sensor wrench, so that's all done. Plug this in. Yeah, let me see if I can not run this on the exhaust side. It's gonna get a little hot. Now we'll pull it from the top. All right, so the wideband is in, and now we can kind of button this up here. So I righted my rungs here. I got the intake air temp sensor into the tube here. Just gotta be kind of careful to not cross thread that, unlike me. So now we could tighten this down. Boom, plugged in. So there you have IAT AFM delete tube. Looks great. Luckily, the car came with a brand new corner elbow here, because this one is seen better days. So this goes there, and then this should really line up right with the air box. And let's throw our air box in. See how well this all lines up. Dang, I actually had my doubts about this pipe being the right kind of measurement, but it's fantastic. And that's literally the extent of the hardware install. Wideband's in, delete tube, IAT, TPS, air box is back in place. This is looking great. Now I'm just gonna wrap up, put all the harness back in place. Nice little slit there in the harness that my wideband can go in. All right, we're all squared away back there. I'm gonna go under and zip tie, etc. Route up the wideband as I see fit, and then we'll test it all out. So WBO, that's your wideband. Plug that in, beautiful. Wow, it actually works quite well. Fits in there fine. I figured out how to configure the tune. The ECU comes with a little folder that has the tune file, or I guess it's the INI file. His video basically got me here, but so it works. It's all connected. We are reading the ECU. First thing you have to do is tune the throttle position sensor. That is the most important part here. So calibrate TPS. What you want to do is close throttle. You want to get the current. I already did this, but I'm doing it again. Hit get current, you'll get that value, and then you want to hold your throttle all the way open and get the current here for the full throttle. Once you do that, hit accept, min greater than max, whatever, yes. And now if you see here, when you floor it, it goes 0 to 100% TPS. So TPS is working, harness works, all that is fantastic. I guess really what I can do here is probably download the startup tune that Jake sent me, and I should just be able to load it up. So I have a base M30 B37 that he made for me, which is absolutely awesome. Here we go, 2725 bass. So this is the bass tune that Jake made for me. So I'm gonna open that. Would you like to send and burn the controller? Yes, I would. And now we should be getting a signal from a wideband. Well, let's see, I'm gonna try to fire it up and I'm gonna see if it reads anything from a wideband sensor. All right, well, it'd be cool if it would fire up at all. All right, so I got it up and running. You can see here our wideband is working. We got air fuel ratio. So right now we're at about 11 AFR, so it's running super rich. 14.7 is optimal for idle and cruising. and then you want it to richen up as you rev it out. So yeah, I messed with the fuel table a little bit to kind of help it out. So you see here, if we go over to the VE table where she's idling, we can probably take some out here. So I'll decrease it by 10. Didn't really do much, so let's see if we go a little less. Not much. Don't really know what I'm doing here, so I'm gonna go ahead and send my first log over to Jake so he can kind of tweak it, make sure that, you know, all the crucial things are up and operational. But you can see here, AFRs are working, so wideband's good, coolant temp working, throttle position is working, intake air temp working, that's the important stuff, and then obviously our map. So, okay, this should go without saying, but when you do something like installing a standalone, it's a good idea to check your actual hardware before you even bother, because I've been kind of on a little bit of a confused streak here, and you guys probably heard it in a couple of the fire ups. It just really didn't want to be alive, you know? I mean, obviously you got to set all the fueling and everything, but it just sounded horrible. I sent my first log to Jake and he said, hey, your map is way off. It looks like it's running on only a few cylinders. So I immediately turned towards the spark system on this car because I know it hasn't been addressed. Look at some of these spark plugs. Look at how black and carboned up these plugs are. I mean, they are horrible. So I got brand new spark plugs, threw them in. I looked at my plug wires and a couple of them were also pretty corroded. So I replaced my plug wires. The cap and the rotor on this car are actually fairly new. They are from 2017, so they actually looked really good. No need to address them. We'll fire it up and you guys can just hear how good it actually runs now that it's got spark. Look at that. For an untuned cold start, it's pretty good. I mean, just like that. And you can hear it's actually running. It's running good. O2 sensor needs to heat up, so we have no O2 right now. So it's super rich. You can see right there, we got about a 10 on the AFR, 9, 10, so it's really, really rich. Now, I'm not gonna pretend to kind of know how to tune here, but yeah, so here's kind of the basics here. So your AFR, you want a car to be at about 14.7 when it's idling and when it's cruising, and then as you add fuel or as you add throttle, it wants to add fuel. So you want to come down to like 11-ish for like a full throttle pull. But pretty much then you just mess with the VE tables here, and this is pretty much all your fuel stuff. So you kind of just play with these numbers, and you got load on the left here, and then you got your RPM on the right. So right about here is kind of your idle, and then this is cruising, and then this is all like full throttle. But yeah, so we're gonna actually go for a quick drive here and get him some data logs. But it actually runs and drives, like it's the car's there, which is really exciting because I have not known this car to run. Yeah, it's max lean. That's bizarre. Okay, yeah, we are having a problem. Oh, no, no, no. All right, well, I think I just ran out of gas or something, and I'm stuck on the side of the road, so that's really cool. Let me figure this out, and we'll be back. So a little word of advice for everybody. If you're gonna build a car and tune a car, put gas in the car. I literally ran out of fuel on the first 30 seconds of that test drive. And I knew that it was low, but I didn't realize it was that low because I had just put like 2 gallons in it with a can. And I guess when I was really having a hard time tuning it, I blew through a lot of that. But anyway, so after that, after I walked home, got gas, etc., put gas in it, fired right up. I got a log in, I got a log sent to Jake. Okay, so now comes the fun part. And now, if this is like a turbo car or like a very serious engine build, whatever, I would go to a dyno before you do this. But like these NA cars, like an M30, you can't really hurt it regardless of how bad your tuning is. So we're doing remote tuning. Jake has a dyno, but he's way up north Michigan. I don't have time to make it all the way up there. I don't want to drag this car all the way up there. So we're just doing remote tuning, which is pretty much I log it, send it to him, he revises it, sends it back. So we got our first log sent in, and he said it's way rich when cruising, which I kind of figured. Now I have a fresh tune from Jake, so I can go pull that up. Okay, so here we go. Josh 935, Jake V1. So this is his first dyno tune here. Send it and burn it, and there we have it. Give this thing a rip and see how our first revision goes with a real tuner. So that drive I just did, which before I ran out of gas, that was literally me playing with this. I've never tuned a car before. So I expect that this car with a first revision from Jake is probably going to be pretty good. Oh yeah, it starts up very nicely. You can see there our AFRs. So we definitely leaned it up a little bit. You can see now at idle 15. So, you know, 14.7 is the perfect spot. You really don't want it to be overly rich when you're idling. All you're doing is wasting fuel. But that's good. Couple revs. Oh yeah, it revs up nice. Definitely still have some lean spots in there, so we're gonna have to address that. But it actually revs up now. Before it wouldn't. Yeah, I can hear it leaning out a little bit with the popping. But again, on an NA engine, not really a huge worry. It's the, you know, a forced induction car, you really got to be careful here. But my idle is set exactly how it should be, about 800. And then all the other readings here are all solid. So we're gonna go for our second, or I guess our first technically, data log with each other. It's a lot smoother. It's not, you know, just pig rich. This car should be pretty quick. We're a little bit of a ways away from that though. Right now we're just in the initial phases of driving. Oh my God, yeah, he smoothed this thing up. Fantastic. I can actually rev it out, and it's enriching as it should. Oh, this is sweet. I'm so excited, man. We have a 3.7 stroker up and running. I've owned this car for like, God, probably close to a year now, and it's just been sitting in the woods. And I could fire it up and move it, but I couldn't really do anything else. So to see it actually running off of just a very easy standalone install. Oh my God, dude, that was probably about 4,500 RPMs. Man, he revised this thing fantastic. And that data log, and now I will send that to him, and we'll be back with our second revision. I can't see this taking more than maybe 5 max. This thing runs pretty good already. And here we are, V2. He said everything looks really good, everything's working as it should, and I could kind of tell just from driving it. I mean, it felt fantastic on that first drive, which I guess my only other experience of doing like this sort of tuning with this sort of ECU is my ITB M30, and that required a lot of fine tuning and finicky because ITBs really don't have a manifold, so your map sensor works overtime. This time around, he said he added a little timing, so I have to be careful for knock, which I think he means made it a little aggressive maybe. But everything seemingly is like really, really good so far. Oh, we lost traction. Yeah, that was redline second and third, maybe not third, but redline and second, and it feels good. And the AFRs look great too. We're probably hovering around the 12 mark when we're in a pull there, which is what you want it to be. Yeah, this thing is doing good. At cruise, looks like we're about high 14, low 15s for AFR, which is good. Ooh, hard cut at the red line. Hard cut. Damn, it feels like I just like hit a wall when I hit the red line there. Which means it's probably an ignition cut rather than a fuel cut, I think, because I think one of them's really hard. But it pulls all the way up, no breaking up, no nothing. This thing feels great. All right, so we got V3 loaded up, and we both agree that this will probably be the last revision I really need. I mean, NA, M30, nothing really too crazy here, but Jake obviously knows what he's doing. So, I mean, the AFRs are perfect, the drivability's perfect. We'll see what the power's like here. Oh yeah, this thing feels great. Pulls all the way through to the red line. The power feels good. I personally can't seem to find a single issue wrong with the drivability of this car. It feels fantastic. So, I think that's probably it. I'm gonna send him this log, and then he'll do maybe, if any, final tweaking. But no, this M30 feels good. It feels happy. It runs fantastic. The power's there. I mean, I really have to drive this back to back with a 3.5 to compare it. But my plan is to get this on a dyno along with the Alpina B10 3.5, and if I can get my hands on a stock 535, but I sold the Cashmere car, so I may or may not be able to get my hands on one. But this thing feels great. I really want to see what this does head to head with a 3.5, an Alpina 3.5, and then this. I think that'll be a lot of fun, so that'll be in the next video. But our fourth and final revision, just the absolute fine tuning of it, so it's pretty much ready to rip. And let's just do a quick little impression. Oh, shift knob came off. This thing feels amazing. This car rips. Oh my goodness. And there we have it. Goodbye, pigtail garbage. Hello, 21st century standalone ECU. This bad boy is absolutely ripping, and I could not be more excited about it. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the classic daily ECU on the 3.7 Stroker 535. I have to say, I'm very, very pleased with absolutely everything about this process. I mean, install to fully tuned. Had I not been waiting on my wideband work to be done, I want to say really it could be a day. It could be 2 days. But the install itself, a few hours at most. And then you just got to get hold of Jake if you want to do remote tuning, and then that's obviously his availability, or if you tune it your own or whatever yourself. But as far as, well, I'm going to close this because it's raining. But I mean, yeah, as I said earlier, not an ad, not paid, nothing. I bought this ECU on Black Friday because I wanted to try out something new that wasn't a mega squirt. I knew this 3.7 car needed a standalone ECU because the piggyback stuff was pretty much non-functional, and it couldn't have been easier. I mean, honestly, the instructions he gives you, but also just the pigtails and the IAT tube and everything you need to install it, really. Like I said, my only complaint was that the wideband wasn't long enough. He said he has since addressed that. So as far as I can tell, you will buy this kit for $800 or so, and it plug and play as best as plug and play can be. And then a couple remote tunes later, and voila, we have a ripping 535i with a 3.7 stroker. I am very excited. Next step here is to get this thing on the dyno and see if the 3.7 actually makes any more power than a 3.5. It should, but we will obviously see. So next time you guys see this car, hopefully it's on a dyno, and we'll actually do a full driving impression video with it as well. I have a few other things to address with the car unrelated to the engine and the management, so I will address those, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're interested in a classic daily ECU, I'll put a link in the description to how you can find Jake's website and his Instagram and everything. So I definitely recommend, if you're doing any sort of modded M30 things, I would just grab this, to be honest. I mean, it's user-friendly. It's a great enthusiast in the community, very helpful. I see no downsides to this. I see no reason to use a Mega Squirt or anything else. So, yeah, that's that. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.